Have you ever stayed up so late, enthralled in something interesting, that you made it so far past your bedtime and paid for it the next day? My name is Jess Gibson from the Lakes. Today's Good News Reflection comes from Acts chapter 20. And I would encourage you to read the whole chapter because there's some really great stuff there. But I'm just going to share a little snippet of it from the Message version. And I love the Message version because it just brings it into everyday vernacular and brings a bit of the humor and comical every once in a while too. So again, Acts chapter 20. They're talking about Paul and his missionary journeys and how he's been traveling around to the different churches. And it says, with things back to normal, Paul called the disciples together and encouraged them to keep up the good work in Ephesus. Then, saying his goodbyes, he left for Macedonia. Traveling through the country, passing from one gathering to another, he gave constant encouragement, lifting their spirits and charging them with fresh hope. Now, they went to a few other places. I'm going to skip ahead down to verse 7. We met on Sunday to worship and celebrate the Master's Supper. Paul addressed the congregation. Our plan was to leave first thing in the morning, but Paul talked on way past midnight. Thank you, Pastor Dean and Pastor Amy, for not preaching until midnight. We were meeting in a well-lit upper room. A young man named Eutychus was sitting in an open window. As Paul went on, Eutychus fell sound asleep and toppled out of the third-story window. When they picked him up, he was dead. Paul went down, stretched himself out on the boy, and hugged him hard. No more crying, he said. There's life in him yet. Then Paul got up and served the Master's Supper and went on telling stories of the faith until dawn. On that note, they left, Paul going one way, the congregation another, leading the boy off alive and full of life themselves. I just love the way the Message put it. Paul was so passionate about sharing the good news of Jesus and encouraging the congregation that he preached until dawn, sharing stories and testimonies. Guys, let's be a church so full of life that we have endless stories to tell of God's grace.